Nicola Sturgeon has been shamed after claiming independence is needed to rebuild after the coronavirus pandemic. The Scottish First Minister is demanding a second independence vote next year after support for a new referendum has increased during the pandemic. But opposition parties have claimed she is focused on independence rather than dealing with the pandemic. The Scottish Conservative Party leader, Douglas Ross, said, "I think throughout this pandemic, we've seen communities coming together to support each other, and that's been one of the few positives out of COVID-19 is how we've all worked together, how we've put aside differences for the greater good. And the SNP wants to throw all that in the bin, get rid of all that and divide our country, our workplaces, our families again over a constitutional argument when the priority should absolutely be on getting on top of this virus, rebuilding our economy post-COVID." Nicola Sturgeon tries to portray herself as someone who is solely focused on dealing with the COVID pandemic when that's clearly not the case. Mr. Ross claimed the SNP government wants to use every opportunity to further their aims for making Scotland an independent country. He claimed their priority is separation at all costs. The leader of the Scottish Tories also said it was very clear that people do not see another independence referendum as a priority for them in the next parliament. He continued, "They expect the next Scottish government to be focused still on the COVID pandemic and how we as a country can together rebuild after the effects of COVID-19. The MP for Moray added the SNP were unable to answer how Scotland would have dealt with the pandemic without the UK government's £9.5 billion payout. He added people were fed up of manufactured grievances that we see from the SNP trying to pick a fight, politicizing issues, rather than just rolling up our sleeves and working together. I thought it was very telling that even during a global pandemic when lives are being lost in Scotland and people are worried about their jobs or their business and their future that the SNP revert to type." Mr. Ross said Scotland needed a government which is willing to use their powers to improve the lives of people across the country. He also argued there were major holes in the SNP's case for independence following the 2014 poll.